Hey, it's Alex from BoardGameCo over here, and today we are doing a Kickstarter preview video of Kickstarter preview. I don't do previews. A Kickstarter Should You Back video of Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria. Now, I'm going to jump straight to the chase. I'm going to cut straight to it, quickly, easily, very definitively tell you what I believe, whether you should or shouldn't back it, and the answer is a solid maybe. Maybe you should back it. So what's going on here? Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria is the 5th or 6th game in the Valeria Card Kingdoms, or the Valeria universe, which I personally like Valeria Card Kingdoms the most. Valeria Card Kingdoms is the game that brought me into this universe, and I quickly hunted up everything else, only to be sorely disappointed. I was very disappointed with Villages of Valeria. I was very disappointed with Quests of Valeria. I don't believe I've played Corsairs of Valeria, which is, I think, the newest one. And then I played Margraves, sorry, not the newest, second newest. I then played Margraves of Valeria just recently for the first time, and I really enjoyed that. And my hopes for this universe were rekindled. Until then, I just liked Card Kingdoms and everything in it. Now, a quick overview for those who don't know everything I'm saying already. Valeria is a shared universe of games. It's a game that has in common Valeria, and then each game takes that theme, takes that art, takes the name. It honestly can be confusing sometimes, especially for those who don't know, but then they branch out into different games with different mechanics, enough similarities that you know what's going on once you jump through one universe to the next, but also enough similarities that sometimes it can be confusing as you jump through these universes. Now for myself, my favorite has been and probably continues to be Valeria Card Kingdoms. It is a simple, light, accessible game, reminiscent of Catan. You roll dice, you buy things, all players get things based on the roll of the dice, and then you wait till your turn and then you get more things so that you can roll more dice and activate more stuff. It's a fun game. I don't have Catan anymore, I don't have Machikura, I don't have Space Base, but I do have Valeria Card Kingdoms. I really enjoy the art, and just the fact that you can do everything you want in that game. And don't get me wrong, I very often like it when games force you to critically choose what you can do and force you into those hard decisions, but when I play Valeria Card Kingdoms, I just have fun. And then from there, like I said, quests and villages I won't delve into, but I will say I don't like them, or didn't like them. I'm happy to give them another shot, but I didn't really enjoy my plays of them. Margraves of Valeria takes it up a notch. Margraves of Valeria was the most recent one before Shadow Kingdoms, and Margraves of Valeria introduces a much deeper game. It's not, it's not a super heavy game, but it certainly escalated what the universe brings to the table, and I really liked it. I thought I had a lot of fun buying cards, buying characters, moving my Margraves around the board, trying to tactically plan how to take advantage of the shared resource of soldiers on the board. I had a lot of fun with that universe. I really liked it, and I keep going back and forth of to what I prefer more, Margraves or Card Kingdoms, and I'll figure that out once I get a few more plays of Margraves under my belt. And with that backstory in play, I then decided, because I liked Margraves, because I liked Valeria Card Kingdoms, I decided to message Daily Magic Games and say, hey, I know you guys are doing a Kickstarter, I do Kickstarter stuff, I haven't yet actually done this is a game I've played, and here's my opinion on it, and I would like to take that risk with you. Now, to be fair, I made it very specifically clear that I will be frank with my opinion, regardless of how it plays out. I'm not going to trash a game. I mean, most games are good enough that they don't need to be trashed. You can say why it wasn't for you. I mean, I have frequently gotten rid of games that are in the top 100. There are many reasons a game could be not for me, and that's fine. But having had luck with 2 of their games, and hoping that there would be a continuous escalation in the level of gameplay they bring to the table, I figured I'd give it a shot. And they decided to give it a shot as well, and they sent me a preview copy. So take that into account. I didn't get paid. I got a preview copy. I'm going to back Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria. Spoiler alert. I'm going to back Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria anyway, so the preview copy has no value to me. I just wanted to see if I could bring more value to this channel by engaging in actually getting my hands on games, actually playing my games, because as long as you guys can continue to trust that I will be frank about the pros and cons of things, then that adds value to the channel. So what were my thoughts? What did I think of it? And we'll go through the Kickstarter shortly. We're going to have my thoughts of the game first, and then we'll go into the value proposition, because they are very different things. I can love a game and not feel it's a game you should back, just in terms of the monetary aspect. Wait till retail, that's fine. I could hate a game and still feel it's a game you should back. They are unrelated factors. They might be related to my personal choice of backing the game, but they are unrelated to the actual question of should you back it. So, review first, and timestamps will be down below so you guys can all see this stuff, but review first. I really like Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria. I do plan on backing it, specifically correlated to my enjoyment of the game. I don't like it as much as Valeria Card Kingdoms or Margraves of Valeria yet, but I am curious as to what the final product will be. This is still a prototype, still in development, and additionally I'm curious what multiple plays will bring to the table. Valeria, Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria is a, let's scroll down over here, see if we can find something here. Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria is a dice drafting game. At the beginning of the game, and as dice run out, you will roll dice, placing them in these wells across the board over here. On your turn, you're going to take your leader, place him in one of these 5 wells, take one of the dice, which will have various ramifications depending on what's on the die, and then take the action associated with that space. So you simultaneously want specific dice to accomplish specific goals, and you also want the action of the space, and you're trying to hedge those 2 goals in tandem to find that perfect die that does both for you. From there, the next player will go, taking their turn, doing the same thing. You'll go, and on while the dice slowly deplete from the board. And this is where the game gets fun. At first, in your first few turns, when you feel like you can do everything, and you haven't yet seen the picture that Valeria is, it seems a little light, a little weak on us. It's a little harder to wrap around why you would actually care to play this game. But then as you take more and more actions, and as you start to realize 2-3 turns into the game that suddenly you just made horrible mistakes and you can't actually accomplish your battle plan because you don't have the right dice or the right opportunities, and someone else just took that last red die and there's no more red dice on the board, suddenly you realize what the game is, and suddenly you realize that all those decisions you've been making those first 2 or 3 rounds mattered far more than you gave them credence for. And then from there, the game actually takes on its own little fun spin to it. Now suddenly it becomes an engine where you have to plan through which dice to take and when. And don't get me wrong, by the way, this is not a heavy game. And in fact, I would argue the Valeria universe in general is a guilty pleasure for me. I would argue my bias in this is far less about the publisher sending me a copy, and it's far more, but I don't think Valeria games are great. I think they're enjoyable. I would say Margraves and Card Kingdoms are both a solid 8 for me. Shadow Kingdoms is so far a 7. We'll see whether it goes up or down over multiple plays. But they are fun games with great artwork that let you do different stuff, but they aren't great. This is not the next, I don't know, whatever game you hold in high esteem. This is not that. None of the games have been, and this will not be either. Maybe they'll release some amazing game that knocks everyone's socks off at some point, but this isn't that. This is a lightweight game with enough strategy to be appealing to gamers and non-gamers alike, yet it's still a light game. It's a game about taking dice and taking actions. Now, there are multiple other things going on the board, such as the battle plans. On this left side over here, you're going to be trying to take specific cards to accomplish your battle plans. And on the right side over here, there are champions that you can buy, and each of those requires going to one of the specific zones on the board. And these champions you buy will give you both immediate benefits, ongoing benefits, and endgame scoring benefits. And then there's another board over here. Let's see if we can find the board. There's your personal player board that as you accomplish battles, you will slowly level up your player board. You'll level up your tableau, unlocking abilities that weren't previously available. So as you go through the game, you have to constantly choose in what order you want to upgrade your player board, which is a lot of fun, and it can tie into your strategy. But again, it's still a light game. When I say strategy, there's enough decisions to be meaningful, enough decisions to be fun, enough here that I really like my game of it, and I want to play it more. But also not so much that it's competing for any of the heavy hitters in your collection. So that's an overview, I guess. I mean, there's another fact over here. Here's your battle board over here that as you accomplish battles, you're going to move those battle tokens off your board, upgrading your board, onto these spots, getting you both points and objectives, both points and rewards, not objectives. And you're trying to tie all these different aspects together into one cohesive beast of taking a die, move next player, take a die, fight bad guys. Although in this case, you actually are the bad guys. A twist in this game is in Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria, you are actually the elves, the goblins, the gnolls, all standing up and rising up against the humans who have been fighting you the past 4 or 5 games. That's kind of an overview. I like the game. I do. In fact, Stanislav, I believe the game is designed by Stanislav. I'm not going to get the last name right, so I'm just going to say Stanislav. It's designed by, here we go, Stanislav Kordonsky, I think I'm saying that right, who knows, who actually did Old West Impressio, which is a game that I am getting rid of because I liked Shadow Kingdoms better. And again, Old West Impressio also is a light, fun game. It's got enough strategy to be engaging, not enough that it's going to be competing with whatever. And I prefer Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria, so not only do I like Shadow Kingdoms, but I am getting rid of a different game because of Shadow Kingdoms. So I did like this game. In terms of my critique, my biggest critique of the game, because I do want to make a point of being critical when and where I can be to, I guess, I mean, for the sake of being critical, to trying to find the reasons you might not like it. The biggest reason I would say is because it is light. At the end of the day, it's a light game. At the end of the day, it's a game where you do one thing to get some resources, to do another thing to get more resources, daisy chain that all the way up to the top, and hopefully win. There's not a ton of depth here. There certainly are meaningful decisions. There certainly are decisions you'll have to make throughout the course of this game that will reward you for feeling clever, reward you for feeling like you were able to line up your dice and objectives and heroes and champions all together in a way that your opponents weren't. But at the end of the day, it is a light game, and the battle board, the side battle board we touched upon over here, is a little fiddly. It does the job. I understand why it exists. I don't have any ideas of how to do it better, but it's a little fiddly. It adds another thing to the game that I like the strategy it adds, but the process feels fiddly. I don't know exactly. And finally, I will note that I did tell this Daily Magic. I have no idea if they'll take into account because, again, I'm just one opinion from all their playtesting. I wish the board was a little more tense. I wish that worker placement had an aspect of, as somebody else went to a spot, as one little meeple went into a spot, another guy came along and had to pay that first meeple. Reminiscent of Istanbul, you know, whoever's there first gets to be paid for the other people. I think that would add an extra element of strategy of not just trying to figure out where you want to go, but figuring out where your opponents want to go to specifically get in their way and possibly be rewarded for it. That's not in the game, to be very clear. That's my own. I would like to see that, and I'd even consider house ruling that. That's another thing. If you like that idea, and if they don't put it in the game, that is an easy house rule to make. This is not hard at all. So yes, I liked Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria. I enjoyed it. I plan on backing it. And with that, let's move into should you back it. Should you back it? Should you not? What's going on here? Now, this game is pretty simple. There are no stretch goals, which, as you know, if you've watched this channel, is already not a good sign in terms of the should you back it. I will be very clear, my enjoyment of the game aside, this is very much a pre-order with bonuses as opposed to a classic, no, I shouldn't say classic, as opposed to one of those Kickstarters that really rewards you for being here. This is effectively a pre-order with a little prize for being here. Not bad at all, but not good either. This is a game where, this is a campaign where you have a $55 pledge level, plain and simple. And from there are some print and play options. I'm not going to go into those that much, but for $55 plus $9 shipping if you're US based, you can get this game. That is $64. And now is a good time to pay attention to their last Kickstarter, to Margraves of Valeria, and see what happened there. See, in Margraves, they charged $49 plus $5 shipping for a total of $54 for the game. And then you can buy Margraves now, brand new and shrink, for $45. So $54 versus $54 a year in advance for a game you're not sure about, versus $45 now with free shipping as soon as you get to $100 in your order. Not a great deal. But in Margraves, you did get 2 bonuses. I think it was 2 bonuses, if I recall correctly, with the Margraves of Valeria with bonus packs. So you had these extra bonuses that they gave you for the game, and Valeria does that a lot. They don't do stretch goals as much. They do a lot of bonus packs. There's a card pack of monsters, a card pack of citizens, a card pack of something extra that we can add to the game. And I think it kind of balanced out. Their card packs on the aftermarket or whenever Board Game Geek gets their hands on them and puts them in their store, they're usually in the range of a few bucks, $5 or whatnot. And so I think you basically, for Margraves of Valeria, I think you basically paid $55 to get the game when you could have just paid $55 later to get the game plus card packs. I don't think it was a good back by any means, but nor was it a bad back. It was you giving up your money a year in advance to hope, not a year, but giving up your money a decent amount in advance in the ideal that you are getting the game earlier, plus the card packs are not always easy to get. I said Board Game Geek might get their hands on them, and historically they have at times, but not all of them and not all the time. These card packs, these bonuses, if you care about them, can be a little bit harder to get your hands on, and so that can be a reward. The simultaneous aspect of getting it earlier, plus those bonuses which are a little harder, made Margraves, again, not a bad back, not a good back. Ultimately, it was a back that, if you were interested, it might have worked out well for you, but I certainly wouldn't have recommended as a, hey, jump on this. And Shadow Kingdoms has taken the same approach. It is a slightly more going on to the actual game, the box. It is $55 with $9 shipping, so $64, and it will probably retail for somewhere in that range, maybe less $10, less $15, but in exchange you have slightly bigger bonuses. They're giving you 2 bonuses for the game. They're giving you the Shrine of the Titans with this tile plus 5 more dice, as well as the Great Battles module with a whole bunch more battle opportunities, a whole bunch more dice and tokens going on, and those are slightly bigger modules than the traditional like 5 card packs or whatever. So they are giving you fixed bonuses for backing this game that, similar to Margraves, similar to our other games in the past, I believe will net out to somewhere in the range of neutral, and it will come down to whether you want the game early or whether you are worried about not being able to get these card packs, these modules, these little miniature expansions on the side from Board Game Geek, from wherever. And that is why I am back in this game. Because I like the game. I've played the game. I like their other games in the past as well. Most of them. Not all of them, though. I don't like them all. Let's be clear with that. And I am willing to lay out my money a little bit in advance for a not good deal, but not bad deal, in order to ensure that I get access to this content. In terms of the secondhand market, I should touch upon that briefly. Secondhand market on their games tends to take a while to open up. Their games aren't super popular, and they are well liked by the people who get them, which means it's actually a little harder than you might think to find these games in the secondary market. It certainly does happen, but like if you hunt for Margraves right now, it's not readily available. It's not the kind of game you can hop onto Board Game Geek and buy 3 copies. You'll be lucky if you find 1. In the trading as well, it is hard to get your hands on these, which is why I am willing to lay out money now for a game that I already know that I like. As far as whether you should back it, that is a harder conversation, because I don't believe you should back this unless you already like the Valeria universe and or you're just tempted enough. But I think that this is one that it's not a good enough buy to jump in on this and in any way feel confident. I think try Valeria Card Kingdoms, try Margraves of Valeria, hop in with a $1 pledge. I think the $1 pledge gives you access to the pledge manager. I haven't actually checked. Get updates. I don't know. You can check. We'll check that part. But let's see, FAQ maybe. Let's take a quick pause here. Pledge manager. Yes, over here. Yes, all backers will have access to the pledge manager. So if you're unsure, put $1 in. Go out and find Valeria Card Kingdoms or Margraves and give it a shot. Like I said, Quest of Valeria and Villages of Valeria, I personally didn't enjoy. I know others do. These are all games that are rated in that 7+ range on Board Game Geek. 7.3, 7.4, 7.2. They're all in that range. They are liked, but not loved. They are not amazing. And so that's the should you back it. A little bit of a ramble, a little bit too much going on, but should you back it comes down to, I don't believe it's a good buy. I don't believe it's a bad buy. I am backing it because I like this universe. If you like this universe, I recommend backing it. If you are tempted enough by this universe that you are going to ignore my advice, then you should back it. But if you haven't actually played a Valeria game, I don't know if it's worth jumping in for this right now. That is my opinion. Those are my 2 cents. Like I said, I'm a fan of Daily Magic games. I'm a fan of the games they put out. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, by all means, please subscribe down below, comment, share, all that stuff. Ring the bell for notifications. Until next time, I am Alex Radcliffe from BoardGameCo. I have played Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria. I like it, and I will probably play it again before I actually get this one, because I really want to get to the table. Until next time, have a good one.